Hello and welcome to our webinar, What Your Security Stack Isn't Catching, How to Detect Hidden Threats. Today we're going to talk about the key threats organizations are facing on a regular basis. We're also going to review threats both on endpoint and network levels. So today, together here with me is Nikita, Head of Threat Exploration at Kaspersky, and Alexander, Senior Product Manager at Kaspersky. Hello guys, how are you?
Thanks, I'm fine.
Not bad, thank you.
Great to have you here with us in the studio. So to give our viewers a sneak peek on what we're going to discuss today, we're not just going to share a list of threats. We're going to do much more than that. We're going to review a real-life threat group, see their specific tactics and techniques, and demonstrate how you, IT security specialist, or just an interested person or business owner, can counter those specific tactics and techniques, and what specific tools you can use to do that. But before we dive into that, let's review the current threat landscape in general. It's no secret that today's attackers target companies of all sizes and industries. Their attacks range from unknown malware, fileless attacks, ransomware, APT attacks, network attacks, you name it. The problem here is growing accessibility of attack tools. Today, it's easier than ever to execute and plan a complex attack. And the numbers support that trend. If we see the latest data from Kaspersky Managed Detection and Response Analyst Report, we'll see that advanced persistent threats have been detected in 25% of companies, and that accounts for over 43% of all high-severity incidents. Unfortunately, this marks a staggering 74% increase compared to the previous year, 2023. If we look at the network threats in general and examine one of our other fresh reports, which is Kaspersky IT Security Economics 2024 reports, we'll see that 97% of large enterprises have reported network attacks. 88% of small and medium enterprises have also reported network attacks. And if we go down to small and medium businesses, 83% of those have reported network attacks. So, Nikita, let's talk about that in bigger detail. Tell us about what we do. Tell us about what your team specifically encounters on a regular basis. And perhaps let's just start with the top 3 types of threats that you think are the most popular nowadays.
Yes, okay, thank you. You have already introduced me and my team responsible for advanced threat research, threat detections, cyber threat intelligence. The main purpose of my team is examine the adversaries, different APT groups, ransomware groups, hacktivist groups, and after that we extract different TTPs, some procedures, and deliver this expertise to our security solutions like XDR, EDR, NDR. Of course, it's our threat intelligence portfolio. And the second part, we generate different reports about our adversaries, about different threats, and it's our main job. For our team, the best expressions, it's know your adversaries. And today we would like to speak about the top threats. It's threats relevant for each country around the world, because today we're conducting our webinar not for some specific region, but the whole planet. And the top 3 threats, what we have already examined, it's of course our ransomware groups. Ransomware groups, it's very famous threats during the, 5 near years. The second is of course different agents APT groups, like famous APT groups, like Lazarus, and the third, some fresh threat, it's of course hacktivism. And like I said, my team responsible for cyber threat intelligence, and we have already created different reports, what you can see on your screen, and you can find these reports in the open network. It's a very big report. We have added a lot of information about adversaries, different TTPs, different approach, what they used during the attacks. And of course, we have added a lot of another threat intelligence data like Sigma, and you can use the Sigma in your, for example, in some environment, in your CM systems, and detect the threats in your network, for example. And today we want to discuss about information technology process. And before we start, I would like to speak about about the different ways in the cybersecurity. And how I say it, you must understand your adversaries. Before understanding your adversary, you must understand first of all yourself. And when you start this process, you need to start ask questions yourself. First of all, who are we? What business do we have, and where is it? In which country? In which industry? The second question is, what adversaries are dangerous for us? What adversaries are relevant for us? Because adversaries always are using different TTPs during the attacks. The third part is about your environment. Environment consists of the different operating systems. It's Windows, it's Linux, it's macOS, it's different servers, it's different network solutions in environment, and all these solutions generate some logs. And based on your logs, you must detect the adversaries. And when you finish this process, when you start to understand your environment, your adversaries, your theory adversaries, of course, first of all, you probably start to understand your threat landscape. Threat landscape is some broad expression. It's created by Science Institute and give you opportunity to understand which threats are relevant for you, first of all. And of course, threat landscape, it's about cyber threat intelligence. In our company, our cyber threat intelligence consists of our main solutions. It's our threat intelligence portal. And right now, I will show you some examples how you can use our solutions to understand your threat landscape and your, for example, country and industry.
Now, since Nikita mentioned Threat Intelligence Portal, it's worth talking about the platform in bigger detail, just to tell our viewers what the tool actually is. Kaspersky Threat Intelligence Portal is a unique platform that supplies users with immediate data on cyber threats, legitimate objects, their interconnections, and indicators of attack. A cool feature of Threat Intelligence Portal is that users are able to create their own threat landscape mapped on MITRE-ATT&CK in real time. Another cool feature that is worth bringing up is that the data that's featured on Threat Intelligence Portal comes from a huge malware stream from hundreds of thousands of incidents on a regular basis. This allows Threat Intelligence Portal users to track adversaries in real time and learn about their tactics anytime they want. So, Nikita, can you perhaps show us a demonstration using Kaspersky Threat Intelligence Portal and just show us the tactics and techniques of a real threat group?
Yeah, of course. Our threat landscape based on the cool things. It's the best thing. It's our technology based on live stream intelligence data, what we have in our company. What it does mean? Every day in Kaspersky, we receive approximately 400,000 malware samples, and of course we have different analysis systems, some processing systems, which give us a lot of some intelligence data. And of course, one of the systems is big systems based on the Sandbox. We send all the samples to the Sandbox, and then Sandbox extracted from the samples some TTPs, some strings related with procedures, and give us a lot of information related with malware. For example, we understand this sample starts some process, this sample starts some network connections, so some malware actions, for example, dumping credentials from some process. And the second part, of course, we understand from which country we have received the samples, for example, I don't know, from Australia, and from some industry, for example, manufacturing. And we understand the samples we receive from Australia, from manufacturing, and the samples did some actions. And the third part, it's our threat attribution technology. This technology gives us information related with some threat entities. Threat entities is some kind of entities related with actor, software, with some maybe alias group with actors. And we understand, for example, we again receive the sample from Australia from manufacturing, and the samples relate, for example, 75% with some APT groups. I don't know, with some APT17 group. And based on these informations, every day we map these informations to MITRE ATT&CK matrix. And how it does work? Let's see. In our threat landscape, we have classic MITRE ATT&CK matrix. Some top techniques, top tactics, some top threats, industries, related actors with this data. And the top of the screen, you can find the 4 filters. 4 filters relates with actor. Different threats, we have hundreds these sectors. Some industries, some affected countries, regions, of course, and the platform. Platform is, of course, some Linux, Windows systems, some cloud systems. And right now I will choose some, for example, some regions, some simple filter. And let's see what information give us our threat landscape. It's need require couple seconds because I chosen the big region. It's whole APAC. Couple seconds, please.
So while we're waiting for the portal to load, can you tell us what country you've chosen to demonstrate?
It's region. It's region APAC, and APAC consists of all countries. Consist of APAC. It's China, Guam, India, Indonesia, Japan, all countries.
Great.
It needs some time, but we will see the pictures in the whole region, and it's cool because when you understand some threats with some near country, probably it's relevant for you if you don't know sit in the China and these threats I don't know happened in some near country. Okay, we have the data, and give me a second. And based on our live telemetry, threat landscape give real data. What is the real data? It's live stream data what we have are receiving every day. And for example, I can understand which TTP is relevant for me if I, for example, sit in the some APAC region, and I can use this information how reactively and or proactively. And let's see what we have here. For example, I can choose some technique. Techniques give me information a lot about different hashes related with these techniques. And for example, I can choose hash and, for example, group. First of all, let's see what we have with hash. Hash gives us information about the industries, about countries, and when we have seen this sample. For example, it's not fresh, but very near. It's 29 November. And we have seen this sample in the Ethiopia. And for example, our threat landscape gives us information about what the sample did in our infrastructure. I mean, in the Sandbox infrastructure, we emulate the samples, and you can see this a lot of different discovery actions. For example, adversaries want to understand local groups, domain groups. He started PowerShell script with we see all the fields, and we see another information, file names. Some file contains the following object. This is this exe file, and we can use this information in our SOC, for example. Then we understood this sample relates with APT41. APT41 is a very famous group. They attacked a lot of countries, approximately whole the world. And here we have the list of the TTPs and procedures. These procedures we enrich with our team, like manually and automatically. How we did these actions? We again examine the some incidents, some investigations, and then add these informations to this table. But the second part, it's automatic approach. Like I said, we have different systems like KATA, Sandbox, and these systems give us opportunity to add this information to this table. For example, we have a lot of automatic information connections with this group. For example, they use different techniques, they use a different approach, they use different library, and all these informations are enriching every day, and you can use these informations in your systems. And after that, when you have such big information, you can understand what your adversaries want to achieve in some environment. And let's play a little game. Right now, I will take different TTPs, and we see how we can detect these TTPs in some default situations without any security solutions, and how we can find these threats in some environment.
Okay, great. So let's get to it. Nikita, can you show us the top tactics of the APT41 group you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, no problem. How we have seen, APT41, it's very broadly threat, and it's almost relevant for each country around the world. And how we saw, APT41 have been using every day more than 200 different TTPs and different techniques, techniques. But right now I took only 30 top 30 TTPs, which they used every day. And if you want to detect these techniques in your environment, you can choose different approach, different way. And first way, you can detect it with own resources, with own capabilities, but it requires a lot of resources. First of all, like I said, you need to understand your infrastructures, your critical business servers, for example. And only after that, you need to prepare your infrastructure. You need collect logs from your systems. You need to understand you have Windows logs, Linux logs. You need to prepare your audit systems, proper audit systems are important. You need to have solid understanding with working about operating systems. For example, Windows operating systems have the standard log systems, Windows 7 log systems, and there is some open sources solutions like Sysmon in the Linux, and other systems like ODD with macOS, again, and other systems like OS Query, audit systems. And it all requires a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience with work of that. And only after that, when you're collecting these logs, send them in some CM systems, by CM systems, you need to create some detection rules in these systems. And the second part of this story, of course, it's about staff. Staff, it's very hard story. It's not easy story, of course, because you need to hire a lot of knowledge guys. It's security analysts, it's security engineers, it's some cyber threat intelligence analysts, of course, security operations analysts. And these guys must have a lot of experience in this sphere, because, for example, one techniques can consist of 1,000 procedures. And if you create only one rule for detect these techniques, doesn't detect in your environment. It's only mean you can detect only one procedures. And the second way, you can use some ready designed solutions from some cybersecurity vendors, for example. It's solutions very famous like EDR, NDR, some XDR approach. And in our company, of course, we have been going in this way. We create one platform for this approach. We called this platform KATA. It's Anti Targeted Attack platform. And I think my colleague will tell you about this platform.
Yes, thank you so much, Nikita. Well, first of all, the threats and techniques you just mentioned, they are rather complex and sophisticated, and they are not always possible to counter with the traditional security solutions most of the companies aren't today with. Because there are certain visibility gaps or risks that the traditional security solutions are just not able to cover. So basically, you'll need a new kind of security solution based with the right technology, the right expertise that is able to cover all those advanced threats and techniques that Nikita mentioned. Luckily, here at Kaspersky, we do have such a solution, as Nikita mentioned, Kaspersky Anti Targeted Attack, or KATA for short. What is KATA? Well, KATA consists of three key components: the EDR component, NDR, Network Detection and Response component, and Sandbox. Alexander, you've been sitting here quietly for way too long. Let's talk more about KATA. Can you perhaps tell our viewers what this product actually is, or what solutions it offers? And let's just talk about this product and what it does.
Okay, thank you, Sergey. And definitely you are absolutely right that basic security tools like endpoint, mail, web, and even managed detection and response servers are essential for companies. And at Kaspersky, we provide all of them. But when it comes to advanced persistent threats and zero-day attacks, these tools alone are not enough. That's why at Kaspersky we have Kaspersky Anti Targeted Attack platform, or simply KATA. It's a unified platform that definitely brings three main components: network sandbox, NDR, and EDR, as I mentioned. And the key point here is that all available solutions on the customer side can be integrated with our KATA, such as Kaspersky Endpoint Security, Mail Gateway, Web Gateway, and even Managed Detection and Response Service. And also important point to mention is that KATA can be integrated or can get access to threat intelligence information, threat intelligence data. For instance, it can be integrated with Kaspersky Security Network. It's our global threat reputation database, and of course, threat intelligence portal, as Nikita mentioned earlier. If you detected something in your network, you need some more insights, some more details about the threat, probably threat landscape. You can directly open threat intelligence portal from KATA and get more insights.
Okay, Alexander, thank you so much. Great stuff. Let's throw back a little bit and talk about the EDR part of KATA. Can you tell us more about this part of the product, the solution, what it offers the companies who are using it?
Yes, definitely. EDR is the first thing we should focus on in our companies, because endpoints are the most common attack targets for companies. And we have like unique thing I should mention about EDR, that we have one endpoint agent for different tasks. For instance, you can run it only in antivirus mode, or you can run it for both endpoint protection and EDR. It's quite flexible, as you can see, or you can run it even for network detection response and endpoint security. And we will talk about in a bit during this presentation. And how it works, just let's quickly review it. First of all, we get some network endpoint statistics from workstations, and then we make detects based on indicators of attacks developed by our Kaspersky expert, actually by Nikita's team. And then these solutions allows us to automatically respond to revealed threats in our network, helping security operations team to work easier.
Okay, thank you so much, Alexander. Now, Nikita, following what Alexander just said, can you tell us more about what events the EDR part of KATA can detect?
Yeah, it's all right. But before I will mention these events, EDR is a very cool thing, because we always have been working with different teams, like incident response teams, like SOC teams, and they always mentioned one moment more than half very high incident was started from hosts, from some events from hosts. And EDR, of course, is the best solutions. Our EDR based on our technologies, and like you mentioned, we have is a responsible team. It's a target attack research team in threat exploration, and they have been creating rules every day. And our best advantages, it's we deliver these rules every day to our solutions, because we are fixing some false positive rating. We have been adding some additional formations to detecting systems, because every day we research some threats. And today we have some coverage. We have mapped this coverage, and approximately we have today 400 more than 80 or 70 TTPs right now. And of course, like I said, our solutions based on our own telemetry. This telemetry based on our designed built-in EPP, and these events start from some completely simple, from some process creations, and ends with some more hard events, for example, with some AMSI scan. And based on these events, we have already created more than 17,000 rules. We call these rules EOA. It's indicator of attack, and this indicator of attack generates some alerts in your infrastructures. And near time, there was the release. It's release KATA 7.0, and we decided to add a lot of new opportunities to detect some threats in the infrastructures based on the new events. These events are very cool. We have added in the different operation systems, in the Windows and the Linux. In the Windows, we added cool things like, registry safe, because it's give you solid opportunity to detect when adversaries want to dump some credentials from the registry, for example, because there is an approach when you can observe register read, but it doesn't mean the adversaries extract this creds from registry. It only means he only read this key of the registry. And the Linux, we added some simple events like model load, port listen, DNS, code injections on the Linux. It's not specific for Linux, but there is a specific attack on the Linux with the code injections. And the last part, it's the main cool thing. It's new fields to each event. We have more than 50 events and different subtypes in the KATA relates with events, and each event right now has these fields. For example, if you want to understand, for example, process success to your process in your operation systems in the Windows, right now you understand which parent it was, which grandparent it was, and what were the relevant fields. For example, like cool things, it's startup parameters, grandparent startup parameters, parent startup parameters, severity levels of this process. And with this information, you can detect cool things with some privilege escalations, with some grandparent process with low integrity level, start activities with process with high integrity levels. It's not cool things in your environment. And our EDR give opportunity to detect them. And of course, after this release, we immediately have created our roadmap to detect the famous TTPs based on these events. It's of course relates with VMI, LDAP discovery, pipes, file read, registry read, and we have almost already finished, but not yet, because we need some time to test that. But I think in the middle of the year, so we have finished. You can use to full these rules in your KATA if you have that. And of course, EDR. EDR, it's not only detect, it's of course about response. Response actions, it's, I don't know, it's some stone in your environment, because if you remember some investigations process, you have detections, response, eradications, remediations actions, and then you have some analysis these incidents after all the sections. But very important, it's response. Response, it's about when you encounter with adversaries and start some response actions, some stopped actions for them. For example, we have, again, from the simple, some actions from the, I don't know, kill the process, kill the service, stop service, but with some hard response, with cool things related with digital forensic. You can, for example, get memory forensic with operations memory. You can get memory dump from the disk image. You can get NFTs metafiles. You can quarantine file. You can isolate the host, and a lot of different cool things. And our EDR give opportunities to detect the sections during some investigations. And let's see what we have with our APT41. If you remember, we discussed that. In the screen, you can observe two types of color. It's dark green and yellow green. Dark green is about more reliable detect in your environment based on EDR approach, because, like I said, all details hidden behind the devil. There is the procedures, and procedures is about many approaches in the attacks. And dark green is about solid detect. That means we can detect these threats based on only EDR. Light green, EDR can produce only detect on some 50-50 approach, because there are a lot of different ways based on some network approach when the adversaries like to use some tools based on the network principle working in the environment. For example, they like to use some discovery actions, like scan some hosts, scan some ports in your environment, scan some Active Directory structure, exfiltrate some data, connect to C2 servers, I don't know, persistence on the web shell, and so on. And here the best way is, of course, detect based on the network traffic, based on the network solutions. And here, best way, use some NDR systems.
Yeah, so now that we mentioned NDR, well, before we talked mostly about EDR, and while the EDR capabilities of KATA are certainly impressive, just like Nikita started to talk, I mentioned, they alone might not be enough to cover all types of threats and cover all the techniques of the APT41 and other active threat groups. This is mostly due to visibility gaps and other associated risks. So, Alexander, let's talk more about the risks and why EDR alone is not enough.
Good question, actually, Sergey. And we've been hearing the same from our customers. They ask us some questions, similar questions like, let's say, I already have endpoint protection, I already have EDR, CM, probably implemented some advanced network segmentation. So why do I really need network detection and response? And the short answer is if you have just EDR and CM, there are still blind spots in our network. Going deeper, the first point is EDR and CM coverage gaps. we simply can't install EDR agents everywhere in our network. There are managed devices, there are IoT devices, there are BYOD devices. We can't install agent everywhere. Plus CM. CM depends on logs, and not everything generates logs, right? But if it does, collecting them all from all the devices, it's a really big challenge. So this is where NDR comes into play and can help you to get visibility into those gray areas.
Yeah, it could distract. And another important thing that usually the SAM environment is based not only one, for example, one cities, one countries, and it's consists with different domains, and all these logs not always were sent to some CM systems. And like Alexander said, nobody never seen when some organizations has installed everywhere EDR, everywhere fix some logs everywhere. It's probably impossible, and the best way is collect traffic. It's network traffic.
So just to confirm what you're saying, that we need to use three solutions, I would say, together, right? CM, EDR, and NDR in one place, so they will cover gaps of each other.
Yeah, they complement together.
Those are pretty valid points, and thank you for bringing them up. Now, let's just go back a little bit to NDR. I know that, and you guys obviously, of course, know too, that KATA has started receiving NDR capabilities last year. Right now, they're pretty advanced. So how the current KATA NDR capabilities help customers?
Help customers. So the first one is, for instance, if each customer, I would say, has remote workers nowadays, right? Employees working from home, contractors, partners, and this is like a big challenge for security teams to control them. This is where NDR also can help. And I think the last and most important thing I should mention is there is no clear network perimeter anymore. That, for instance, traditional security models, they assume that we can control everything, the whole traffic at the edge in one point. But misconfiguration in firewall policies, supply chain attacks, internal threats, they make this assumption outdated. This is where our NDR can help with so-called east-west visibility and allows us to detect threats in our network. Here's our KATA NDR high-level diagram. It works effectively because it analyzes both internal and external traffic. What makes it even stronger is Network Sandbox. It analyzes objects such as files, URL, and attachments in isolated environment, revealing hidden threats. And this combination of network visibility and sandbox technology help detect what traditional tools might miss. Okay, now let's quickly go through the key features of KATA NDR. The first one is IDS rule coverage. As I mentioned earlier, we can detect threats internally and externally. The second one is asset management or inventory. And as Nikita mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, when it comes to APT threats, the first step you should answer actually the question what your environment consists of. And actually, even with NDR, the first step you should take is inventory, is asset management, which helps you to identify what devices are connected to your network, which are important, and decide what really needs protection. The third one is network map. You can visualize how devices communicate with each other. It can help you to reveal some suspicious connections. The next one is session table, which shows you active and completed connections. you can filter to some specific connections you need to analyze, or even you can export raw traffic for deep investigation, for instance, in Wireshark. Detection of risks and anomalies allows you to identify potential threats before they become active. And of course, responses with NDR allows you to take immediate action within the systems, like applying IP access lists or disabling Ethernet ports on Cisco switches, which helps you to stop threats before they became so dangerous in your network.
Okay, so if you guys don't mind, I'd follow this information, theoretical information, so to speak, with more practical data. So Nikita, going back to you, can you share specific types of threats that KATA NDR, or perhaps the unified solution EDR plus NDR can counter?
Yeah, if honest, for NDR we need additional webinar because network attacks, it's a big world, relates with many approaches, and if we want to talk about NDR capability to detect some threats, some attacks, let's see some top.
Yeah, so if you're interested in such webinar, let us know in the comments section somewhere below.
Yeah. First of all, it's discovery. Adversaries likes discovery your environment. It's relates with some classic discovery with scan the network, but the second part, the more famous, and it's only increasing. The threat, I mean, it's Active Directory discovery. The most popular infrastructures around the world, of course, is Windows-based. It's based on the Active Directory, and the Active Directory give opportunities to adversaries. Find some way to privilege escalate the rights during the attacks, find something interesting to again advance the attack in some environment. And of course, the famous tools is Bloodhound, Sharphound, Adericon. For example, APT 41 have used these tools during the attacks. And the tools capable to find these misconfigurations Active Directory. For example, low privilege, some cool low privilege group, for example, Labs group, and so on. The second part, it's tunnels. Some near couple years is very famous approach, for example, with agents APT groups. With from the hacktivist groups, they like to up the tunnel in your environment and connect to C2 server during the attack. And of course, probably you know these tools. It's Grok, Chisel, Stowaway, JSocket. The problem, approximately, we countered. Right now we have more than 100 different tools in the tunnels, and for some common people, it's very hard to detect all of them because they all different. They use different approaches when they have been working in environment, and so on. Of course, then attacks relates with some VMA activity, with evil VNRM, VMA consumers, remote VMA in your environment. VMA is very famous mechanism in the Windows for the attack, very convenient for the adversaries. And I don't know what other the famous, because I can speak internally about the network attacks. I will mention only one: steal tickets, use tickets in the environment. Some famous attack like relates with Kerberos, of course. I like this protocol Kerberos because we observe a lot of attacks with the Kerberos. Of course, this attacks Kerberosting, S3 roasting, some golden tickets attack, and NDR could detect this attack in your environment. And of course, like in the EDR approach, Threat Exploration has a separate team is responsible to detect some network attacks, network threats around the world. It's our network detection team. And they, of course, every day create the rules, through KATA rules, and we have mapped these rules to MITRE ATT&CK metrics, and you can observe in your screen. And like example, I mentioned APT41. APT41 used bloodhound in near incident, what we have seen. And the NDR give you not only opportunity to detect these attacks, it gives you details. Details is more important because you understand different points, different data. Where is this started activities? Why we detect these activities? Which object in LDAP were targeted by adversaries? Why it's important? When it happened? And it's of course was mapped with our analyst to some TTPs, and all this informations you have in NDR. And if we see to our table and we talk about NDR and EDR, it's a good approach to detect these threats in your environment. For example, we took our top threats from APT41, and if you use EDR and NDR together, it's completely doesn't give opportunities adversaries through with your network, because maybe they use some exploits or some zero attacks, but always there will be some step where you can detect them based on these approaches, based on the EDR and NDR. Of course, we have different another advance in our KATA, like Sandbox. And Sandbox-based detections give another cool opportunities to detect.
Yeah, so before we jump into Sandbox, just a reminder that if you have any questions for us, or maybe for Nikita or Alexander specifically, be sure to leave them in the comment section and we'll make sure to reply or contact you directly. Now, yes, Sandbox. So before we talked about EDR and NDR, but like we said before, we also have the Sandbox component, which allows users to analyze and detonate suspicious, malicious files in isolated environments. Alexander, let's talk about that. So Sandbox, why is it useful and how it can help companies?
Okay, Sergey. Yes, Sandbox is a crucial part of KATA. And as I mentioned earlier, objects from many sources, actually, endpoints, web, mail, or even objects uploaded manually to Sandbox are analyzed in isolated environment. And why it's important to have Sandbox in solutions such as like NDR or EDR? Because Sandbox can analyze suspicious objects and reveal some hidden threats that traditional security tools might miss. Here you can see the Sandbox result, the result of its work. You can see some, let's say, registry changes, some processes started. Below you can see activity tree that actually shows and demonstrate how the files was executed in isolated environment step by step, and why it's useful for security analysts. So when they have to make a decision about if it is, let's say, a threat or a clear something, they can, analyzing this result, they can make informed decisions.
Yeah, and KATA has own logic for this, to sending some samples to sandboxing. We have been creating this logic every day, and if the sample are doing some samples are doing some suspicious activities, like for example, it started some, I don't know, network activities, and after that sleeping for 100 seconds. Sandbox understands this moment and sends these samples for different operation systems. Sandbox emulate these activities and extract TTPs, and then if it finds some I don't know, suspicious moments, it's gives you alert in the KATA. And the another cool things what I want to mention, it's threat intelligence. KATA have already included our threat intelligence. KATA connects with our KSN, and KSN every minute send the fresh threat intelligence information relates with IP addresses, domain, URL addresses, and if the KATA will see some this address and the destination, for example, IP address on the network traffic, it give up the alert based on our systems. We call this alerts URL-based alert. And after that, it sends a Sandbox and give all information relates with threat intelligence. For example, we know this sample relates with some APTs, and so of course this will be read. And you can push the button to go to the threat intelligence portal and find more additional details with these threats and proceed some investigations in your environment. And again, it's example about cool complement together two solutions, threat intelligence and Sandbox. And if you remember previous EDR and NDR, we in the finish we have cool number of approaches to detect the evil in your environment.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for today's live stream. So just to sum up, if you guys are interested in learning more about Kaspersky Anti Targeted Attack, please visit the link in the QR code, which should be here somewhere on the screen. While you're there, you can also request a demo. And if you're interested to learn more or dig into some of our reports we mentioned during the stream, you should see another QR code. So feel free to study and dig into those reports to learn more about the current threat landscape. Nikita, Alexander, thank you so much for coming to the studio today. To our viewers, thank you so much for joining us today. And until next time, bye.
Yeah, bye guys.
Bye-bye.